Top 5 things parents should know about executive function skills in kids with ADHD. Number one, inconsistent use of internal dialogue, or what I call brain voice with kids. So, people with ADHD do not always hear their internal dialogue, what we also call self directed talk. So, as an example, if your child sits there in the morning on their bed, with one sock on, not getting dressed until you prompt them, it's not because they're being lazy. It's not because they're trying to be difficult. The reason that they're not getting dressed is because they're not having an internal dialogue with themselves to talk about what they should be doing to direct their behavior. So we can help kids build their internal dialogue by using declarative language. This is a skill that I teach to help parents help their child move from what we call prompt dependence, which is when you're acting as your child's executive functioning, to independence. Number two, difficulty with nonverbal working memory, or what's called future thinking skills. So if your child has ever done homework but forgot to hand it in, or if they, regularly forget their water bottle, it's not that they're forgetting to hand their homework in or forgetting their water bottle. What's happening is they're not picturing themselves handing in their homework, or when they leave for school, they're not picturing what they should look like when they're ready for school. So with nonverbal working memory, it's your ability to visualize yourself doing something in the near future. For kids with ADHD, their time horizon, or their ability to visualize themselves doing something in the future, is limited. So, for example, if you say to your child, do your homework all week and you can have Xbox on the weekend, well, that time horizon is too long for them. They might not be able to visualize having Xbox on the weekend, so they're not necessarily going to be motivated to do their homework. We can help build kids' nonverbal working memory. One of the strategies I teach for that is doing a visual timeline to help kids get through daily routines. Now, you might have tried lists before and found that they don't work. The reason why lists don't work, or checklists, for most kids with ADHD is because they're not visual. They're not activating their nonverbal working memory. So know that you can absolutely help your child build their nonverbal working memory or future thinking skills. Struggle with sensing the passage of time. So your child might know how to tell time, but they can't necessarily experience time the same way you do, which is why they tend not to have a sense of urgency about things. Now, I'm sure you've seen strategies like using timers or that red countdown timer. Here's the problem with those things. They don't teach your child how to sense the passage of time. We can teach them how to sense the passage of time using something really simple, an analog clock. I teach a strategy for this to help kids learn how to see time visually in unit volume. So when they're able to see time visually, that's how they learn to sense the passage of time. Number four, transitioning from preferred to non-preferred tasks. So people with ADHD do not have difficulty paying attention. They have difficulty regulating their attention to things that they're not interested in, and they have difficulty shifting from paying attention to things that they really like video games maybe, to having to do something they don't like. So if your child often argues with you when it's time to get off video games or screens, it's probably because they're hyper focusing on that screen and you're asking them to transition to a non-preferred task. We can help them learn how to transition successfully by helping them visually see transitions. Very similar to the strategy I teach to help kids learn how to sense the passage of time. So you can help your child learn how to transition from preferred to non-preferred tasks. But again, it's not going to be with a timer. It's not going to be with reminders. It's going to be through helping them visually see the upcoming transition. Before I get to the last one, I do want to mention that the ADHD Dude membership site includes the following webinars: Executive Function Crash Course for Parents, which is where I teach the strategies I'm mentioning here; Scaffolding Better Behavior, my parent behavior training program; Socially Smarter, which is a series to help your child develop their social skills; Better Bedtimes; and you have the ability to attend twice monthly office hours to have your questions answered live. And you can also leave questions in the community section of the membership site. So the final one that most people do not know is an aspect of executive functioning is cognitive flexibility. If your child has a propensity to be inflexible, if they have difficulty hearing no, it's because they have difficulty with being flexible. Now, flexibility is really being able to shift from one thing to another, much like how we mentioned before about transitions, but it's a flexibility that has to also do with being able to be okay with things not going your way. I have a saying: flexibility is cultivated, inflexibility is accommodated. You can absolutely help your child become more flexible. And the way you do that is by not accommodating their inflexibility. Here's an example of not accommodating inflexibility. Let's say that your child doesn't like to go to a certain restaurant that the rest of your family goes to, and you choose not to go there because you don't want them to have a meltdown or complain or make a lot of noise, which is the term I use for arguing or complaining. Well, that's actually accommodating their inflexibility. What that is teaching them is that when you are inflexible, we will work around you in order to keep you placated. That doesn't help develop flexibility. Now, I will tell you, for a lot of families who have children who have become highly inflexible, when the parents stop accommodating their inflexibility, their behavior tends to get worse because this feels like a loss to them. If they are used to things going their way and suddenly things aren't going their way because they're learning how to be more flexible, they're going to fight against that at first until it becomes the new normal. If you would like to learn more about the ADHD Dude membership site and read frequently asked questions, please visit ADHDdudecourses.com, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.